We all know that Mary could be and was a straightforward person. You didn't have to scratch very deeply to understand what Mary thought about anything at any given time. I know that Mary, like many of us, didn't like to exude a persona of being traditional. When it came to faith, she was not particularly a religious person, but she was a spiritual woman. When she gave her kindness and her love and her generosity, it came from a sensitive and deep soul, and as Katie likes to say, an old soul. She chose what parts of herself that she would share. For many of you, the readings that we chose for this morning are familiar. They're Psalm 23 and Matthew 11. For me, these readings represent something of the paradox or complexity of Mary's personality, at least as I experienced knowing her, especially during the end of her life's journey. I did see, however, glimpses of her respect for tradition. In her otherwise love for the unconventional. There was something comforting for her in that which was familiar. There are scholars, of course, that say that Psalm 23 is the most beloved and well-known scriptural passage of all history. Maybe because it was like this that maybe because, like Mary, this psalm does not deny that bad things do happen. Nor does it promise that God is going to stop these things from happening. What it does say is that when hardship happens, when that deepest valley is before us, we're not alone, and that God is with us. And Mary was very clear on this point. She was so clear on this point that she did not feel alone, that she felt the presence of God, that I have hardly ever met anyone as confident as she was on this point. So Mary's spirituality, she brought her a kind of grace and a kind of strength. She was asked, Mary, thinking back on your whole life, what is the best time that you can remember? And she thought about it and she responded. She said, it's being here with you right now. And that was in reference to being with her sisters in particular. In a way, I got the chance to see her live the psalmist's words that were penned 3,000 years ago. I'm not afraid. You are close beside me, Lord. So, as Katie said, I would visit Mary coming from school where I teach high school girls. And she would get to hear about the lesson of the day, because of course that was on my mind. And we would talk about things like metaphysics, those realities in our life that are important, but they are not physical, such as friendship and love and the existence of a soul and God. Another day we talked about the uniqueness of each human being. It's important for my high school girls to hear that, because many of them struggle with their identity, especially at that age. And the individual and irrepeatable qualities of a person. So on those visits, I would bring communion to Mary, and then I would leave her in the quiet. And it was a pleasure to do that. So I'll close on this point, that in the existence of all time, there will never be another soul like you. there will never be another soul like Mary. You are precious. That life that you have is precious. It happens once. Mary lived her own good and full expression of that life that she was given. She had the great opportunity to define exactly what it meant to be Mary Elizabeth Paley. And nobody will ever do it better than that. That was her job, and it is perfect. I'm not saying that she was perfect in every way. I'm not saying that she didn't make mistakes like we all do. I'm saying that she has completed what she was here to do. We live with the package that we're given, and we define it through our choices that we make. We all have our own gifts and struggles, and no one else can understand fully what those are, but each one of us, like Mary. And that's why Scripture says to us not to judge anyone, but to love them, aware that we can never step fully into the shoes of another. We need to bless and support each other. We each follow and choose our path. It is our highest calling. We are imbued with the dignity of that responsibility, and I think that Mary would tell you today, you're doing an amazing job. She would want to encourage you in your path, no matter what the circumstances right now, and tell you that you too will encounter unexpected joys along the way.